A peaceful morning in New Jersey. A woman's walking her dog, letting it roam free as it tugs toward a hill it loves. It always comes back. But this time, it returns with something horrifying in its mouth. A severed human arm, dripping with blood. What it leads police to is even worse. A body, a ritualistic scene, and a mystery that screams witchcraft. This is the chilling case of Jeannette DePalma, and you won't believe where it takes us. My name is Montu Patel, and welcome to my channel, Buried. Let's dive into one of the strangest cases you've never heard of. The strange case of Jeannette DePalma. It was a pleasant morning in Springfield, New Jersey, August 1972. A woman was out walking her dog, letting it wander as usual toward a specific hill in the Watchung Reservation, a place locals called the Devil's Teeth for its jagged, tooth-like rock formations. This dog had a habit of roaming off and always came back home. No big deal. So, she let it go. But when it returned, it wasn't carrying a stick or a bone like you'd expect from a loyal pet trying to gift its owner. No, this dog came back with a severed human arm in its mouth, shoulder to fingers, still bleeding. The woman freaked out and immediately called 911, her voice trembling. "My dog came back with a human arm. I don't know where it came from or whose it is. Please help." Police arrived, led by Officer Donald Schwert, a 44-year-old patrolman fresh off vacation. He saw the arm, covered in blood and flies, and knew this was no prank. A search operation launched immediately, scouring the quarry and surrounding woods for hours. They found nothing. As they were about to call it a day, Schwert suggested one last sweep of the Devil's Teeth Hill. It was steep, treacherous, and not an easy climb, even for seasoned officers in hiking boots. When they reached the top, they found her. A young girl's body, face down, fully clothed but barefoot. Her skin was grey, half-eaten by insects and animals, in a state of advanced decomposition. But what made the officer's blood run cold wasn't just the body, it was the scene around it. 2 sticks formed a cross above her head. Pebbles were arranged in a halo-like circle around her, and her body lay in the center of a wooden structure shaped like a coffin. One officer whispered, "This looks like witchcraft." They called for backup, convinced they'd stumbled onto something ritualistic, something evil. The body was identified as Jeannette DePalma, a 16-year-old girl who'd been missing for 6 weeks. Her case had gone cold, but now it was screaming back to life with questions no one could answer. Who did this to her? Why was her body staged like some kind of occult sacrifice? And how did a teenage girl end up on a hill so treacherous even trained officers struggled to climb it? Who was Jeannette DePalma? Jeannette was born on August 3, 1956, into a wealthy Italian family in Springfield, New Jersey. Her father, Salvador, owned an auto salvage business, and her mother, Florence, was a homemaker. Jeannette was the 7th of 8 children, raised in a sprawling mansion worth $65,000, a fortune at the time. The DePalmas lived a lavish life, but neighbors found them odd. Salvador had a temper, often yelling at Florence so loudly that it echoed through their massive home, prompting police calls. Florence always brushed it off as a family matter. The family was deeply religious, part of an evangelical Christian community that actively tried to convert others, sometimes through intense persuasion. Rumors swirled that Salvador might even be tied to the mafia, though no proof ever surfaced. Jeannette, like her family, was religious but had a rebellious streak. At 15 or 16, her teachers called her a wild girl, but in the 1970s, that could mean something as simple as talking to boys, liking parties, or smoking a little weed. Her friends, though, described her as sweet, funny, and cool. The kind of girl who snuck out to parties but stayed away from hard drugs or alcohol. Just a typical teenager pushing boundaries. The day she disappeared, on August 7th, 1972, Jeannette was having breakfast with her family when her mum, Florence, told her to stay home and help scrub the bathroom. No excuses, no visiting friends. But Jeannette had plans. She'd promised her friend Gail she'd come over to hang out. When Florence pushed back, Jeannette called Gail, who begged her to come anyway. "I invited my boyfriend and his friend. Make something up. Say it's urgent." Jeannette caved. She told her mum she had a shift at a bookstore, a lie she'd used before to sneak out to parties. She even asked her sister Cindy to join, but Cindy declined. Jeannette decided to hitchhike to Gail's house, stopping by another friend, Donna Blattis, to see if she wanted to come. Donna was busy with chores and said no, unaware it would be the last time she'd see Jeannette alive. That night, Jeannette didn't come home. Florence and Salvador were frantic. It wasn't like her to disappear without a word. They called the Springfield police, but the department refused to file a missing persons report, citing a 1970s rule that required a 2-hour wait, no matter how certain the parents were. Weeks passed. The DePalmas searched neighborhoods, called friends, but no one had seen Jeannette. 6 weeks later, that dog brought home her arm, and the horrifying discovery on the Devil's Teeth Hill began to unravel a mystery that would haunt Springfield for decades. The investigation and the witchcraft rumors. The police were out of their depth. The scene was bizarre. Crosses, pebbles, a coffin-like structure. They needed an 85-foot ladder truck to retrieve Jeannette's body from the steep hill. Her flip-flops were found nearby, raising questions. How could a 16-year-old in flimsy sandals climb a hill that officers in boots struggled with? Was she carried there? If so, by whom? And why? Dr. Edinburgh, a physician at Sullivan Funeral Home, examined the body. He suspected strangulation but couldn't confirm it. The body was too decomposed for a clear autopsy. Strangely, he noted an uncanny amount of lead in her system. Lead wasn't a common drug, but some occult practices used it, supposedly to help with substance abuse recovery. Jeannette had been involved in an anti-drug program at her church, led by a Reverend Tate, whose son she'd briefly dated until a breakup a week before her disappearance. Could this be connected? The investigation was a mess. Police hung Jeannette's clothes on an AC unit outside their building for days, potentially contaminating evidence. A month later, the FBI got involved, analyzing the clothes but finding no foreign hairs, only unidentifiable stains on her bra and underwear, too degraded to analyze. A lieutenant later laughed, saying, "You were lucky if any of us could read or write." That's how unprofessional this department was. Then, the Elizabeth Daily Journal dropped a bombshell article claiming the investigation was focusing on witchcraft. It suggested Jeannette was sacrificed in a satanic ritual, fueling panic in a town already spooked by the 1969 Charles Manson murders, which had sparked a nationwide satanic panic. Locals reported animal sacrifices near the Devil's Teeth, cat paws, goat heads, rabbits hanging from trees. Rumors spread about a cult called the Witches operating in the area. Even a high school teacher claimed she was a witch and was taken to the crime scene by police, only to stir up more rumors that Jeannette's death was a cult sacrifice. The church backed her claims, and Florence, desperate for answers, began to believe her daughter was killed in a satanic ritual. Suspects and dead ends. In October 1972, a 21-year-old named Derry Rickle came forward, claiming he knew Jeannette's killer, a tall, 30-something drifter with red hair nicknamed Red, who worked at a local golf club. Police tracked him down, but Red was just a quiet introvert with no motive or connection to Jeannette. Another lead pointed to Reverend Tate's son, Jeannette's ex, but no evidence linked him to the crime. Even Richard Cottingham, the infamous torso killer who strangled women in the 60s and 70s, was questioned. He confessed to other murders, but denied involvement in Jeannette's case. 8 feet from her body, police found Jeannette's purse with a compact, lipstick, Vicks inhaler, a comb ring, and an unlabeled box of pills, later identified as containing lead. Was she taking them for the church's anti-drug program, or was something darker at play? The unanswered questions. Jeannette's case remains unsolved. No one was ever charged. Her family never got closure, haunted by the image of her half-decomposed body and the eerie scene on that hill. Was it a satanic cult? A group of misguided teens playing at witchcraft? Or something simpler? A random act of violence dressed up to look ritualistic. The organization Justice for Jeannette DePalma still fights to keep her memory alive, hoping for answers. What do you think happened to Jeannette? Was it witchcraft, a cover-up, or something else entirely? Let me know in the comments, and if you liked this storytelling, follow me on Instagram, like this video, and subscribe to Buried for more cases like this. I'm Montu Patel, and I'll see you next time with another chilling story. Stay curious, stay safe.